Hi, so welcome to today's video. So today I thought I would talk about some of the makeup products that I rediscovered in 2021. And these products are older products, older releases that I basically, got a chance to use because I did like a shop my stash every month through the whole of 2021. So since I just recently finished filming my December shop my stash, December 2021 shop my stash, I thought this would be a nice video to do because I've then covered my entire shop my stash from January 2021 all the way till December 2021. So these are products that I basically rediscovered in my collection, and some of them are basically older releases, so maybe not available. But if you have these products in your collection, I highly suggest that you revisit them because they are super nice, and these are my personal picks from my collection, from the products that I used through the year. And I picked out basically maybe two or three favorites in almost every category. Now, I didn't include the foundation products because I basically used new foundation pretty much through most of 2021. However, the early part of 2021, I did use Laura Geller's Quench and Tint Hydrating Foundation, which I don't have with me anymore. I mean, I can't find it. It's probably close to expiration date, so I don't have the product to show you, but I did use it in the early parts of 2021. It's a beautiful foundation. It basically has like a very moisturizer kind of texture, and it sits really nicely on your skin. It doesn't have too much coverage, but it's just perfect to use in colder months, at least if you have dry skin like myself. And it sits really well. It just gives you like a nice little finish on your skin, in the sense, it kind of hides a little bit of the redness, and it's like easy to throw on. You can use your fingers, you can use a brush. It's almost like a tinted moisturizer, so it's really nice on the skin. It sits very nicely. It's overall such a beautiful product. I did have it in the shade medium, and the only problem I had was that the shade medium was a little bit too much on the pink tone side of things, and I do have very strong yellow undertones. So I'm not sure next time when I purchase it again if I should go like a shade up, so that it kind of matches the undertone a little bit better, but I could still get away with using the medium shade. So if you look up, I think my videos from my February, March shop my stash videos, I'm basically wearing that on my face, and I think I do mention that foundation there. So that is basically my favorite rediscovered foundation type of product by shopping my stash. So yeah, so next let's talk about my favorite category, which is blushes. And blushes, I do have a pretty huge collection of blushes. Blushes are one of my favorite makeup products to use. So it was very tough to kind of pick one, and it was also very tough to pick two, but then I decided I will not go beyond two products for any category. So it was like there was a lot of stiff competition in this category of blushes. And the two products that I rediscovered in my collection and I've fallen back in love with are from Anasui and from Laura Geller again. Actually, you'll be hearing a lot about Laura Geller in this video because I do have one more Laura Geller product to talk about. So yeah, let's first start with the Anasui blush. Now, this blush, I think this was released in 2019. So maybe it is still available. I'm not sure. Anasui products are a little bit difficult to find. I know Beauty Bay has it, and Beautylish also carries it, I think, but not everything in the line. So yeah, I haven't been following too much of Anasui makeup recently, so I'm not sure if there are any, newer retailers who, carry the line. But I think this one I picked up from Beauty Bay. So this is the Anasui Sui Black Powder Blush in the shade 401. As you will see in the little snapshot that I'm going to be inserting right now, it's a beautiful blush. It's a beautiful blush which has got a very nice pinky red tone to it, and this shade is so nice for being such a dark and pigmented blush. It really blends very nicely on your skin, so you don't have to worry about the thing that basically scares people off from using any blush which is you know, a little deep and dark like this one, is that, you know, it might turn out to be very splotchy on the cheeks. And once it becomes splotchy and it doesn't like spread easily, you know, it's like fixing it becomes even more difficult because it's so pigmented. You don't have that problem with this one. The formula is really nice. It's a very silky, smooth, matte kind of a finish, but not too matte. It's not a chalky matte. And overall, it sits really well on the skin, lasts really well. And yeah, like I was saying, it's very easy to blend. And I believe this might still be available. If I do find a retailer, an authorized retailer selling this, I will try to link it in the description box. This is one of my favorite Anasui purchases. This one does smell of rose, so if you are sensitive to scents, I do have to warn you that most of Anasui's products have very strong rosy scents, and this one is no exception. So this was one of my favorite blush rediscoveries in 2021 from shopping my stash. The other one is from Laura Geller. I'm not sure if she still carries the whole the baked gelato type of products. So this one is the Baked Gelato Vivid Swirl Blush in Rose Water. So these are basically a baked gelée formula, and this particular shade Rose Water, I do have this in one more shade. I have this in the shade Papaya as well, which is also very beautiful. And the thing is, the first time when I picked these blushes up, I was more happy with Papaya, which is a little bit more brighter than this. This is like a very soft pink, and it looks extremely light in the pan, as you will see. And the thing is, the first time when I picked this up, I found it a bit glittery. I don't know if there was like a glitter overspray or something, but recently when I started using it again, it just looks so beautiful on the skin. It looks like it was like a nice natural rosy flush, and I loved it. It's a very nice warm pink shade, and because of the formulation of it being basically baked gelée, it sits really well on your skin, especially if you have dry skin. So overall, this blush was a super nice rediscovery, and I'm looking forward to using this again this year as well. So now again, about availability, I did see that on Temptalia's website, where she does sometimes post, I think not sometimes, I think she always posts like sort of like dupes for any product. And for this particular one, she did mention a Colourpop blush. Uh-oh, the name escapes me. Yesterday, I just checked it up to kind of talk about it in this video, and now I can't remember the name. There is a Colourpop blush which supposedly is very similar in shade and tone to this. The other blush that she mentioned was a Ciate blush called Baby Doll, which also looks really, really beautiful. In fact, I've been eyeing that blush for a while. And since I saw that this is kind of like a dupe in terms of color for, you know, and I think the Ciate one is also a baked gelée formula. So you might find the closest dupe being the Ciate London Baby Doll blush. And so if you have that blush in your collection as well, it does the job. So you can, you know, check that out if you want like a similar shade. So these were the two blush picks. So these were the two products that I wanted to talk about in the blush category. Now let's talk about highlighters, which is also one of my favorite makeup products to buy a lot of, and I do have quite a few highlighters. And once you have a certain number of highlighters, they all start looking a little bit alike. So I've kind of slowed down on my highlighter purchases a little bit, although I'm always gravitating towards them simply because they just look so pretty, and so I feel like buying them all the time. So here again, I'm going to be talking about two products, and one of them is the Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminator by Laura Geller again, and this is Gilded Honey. So Gilded Honey was very popular at one point. I think maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, everybody was talking about this particular highlighter. It was like the hottest thing in the market, and you know, I don't know, it was just generally very, very popular. And at that time, when I actually picked it up, I didn't find it to be anything super special. But recently, I don't know, when I used this, I really enjoyed it. Again, it's probably because of the baked gelée formula. It was just sitting so nicely on the skin. It looks like it's like a natural, you know, shininess on your skin, which is basically what I'm looking for. I don't like highlighters that sit on top and look like a, you know, a streak on top of your cheekbones. And I don't like highlighters to be looking too evident as well. So especially at a distance, I mean, this just doesn't look like you're wearing a highlighter, but at the same time, you have a nice glow on your skin. So overall, I really love this one, and I'm again happy to have rediscovered this in my collection. Now, the good thing about Laura Geller is that every once in a while, Laura Geller products do tend to turn up at like TJ Maxx and stuff, so you might be able to pick this up. I think I saw it a couple of months back. I did see the Gilded Honey highlighter at TJ Maxx. So, I mean, I would suggest that you keep your eye out there. And I also saw that on Macy's, they do have the same formulation, but different shades of highlighter. So if this is too gold for you, or if you generally just want to try out the Baked Gelato Swirl highlighter formula, I did see on Macy's that they have two different shades, which are not, I think they're like newer shades. I haven't seen them before. So they probably still, you know, plan to keep this line. I don't know. I haven't seen the blushes, but I did see the highlighters. So yeah, so if you want to try out that particular formula from Laura Geller, there are other shades available at Macy's. So that's what I wanted to say. The other highlighter in which I was so happy to rediscover is from Wet n Wild. Sadly, I think this is no longer available, but if you do have this in your collection, I highly recommend that you revisit this product. It is so beautiful. This is the Wet n Wild highlighter in I'll Have a Cosmo. And again, this is also this is also a baked product. And like the Laura Geller one, I don't think this is a baked gelée though. This is probably like your traditional baked product. But like the Laura Geller Gilded Honey, this one too just sits beautifully on the skin. It kind of like melts in and becomes one. And so, you know, it just doesn't look like you are, you know, having a lot of powder product on your face. It just looks like it's just your natural oils shining through, if that makes sense. Like, it just looks super nice and super natural. And again, both of these products, actually, you can build it up. If you are the sorts who likes to have a really intense highlight, these two products can do that as well. So it's very versatile that way. So overall, I'm very, very happy that I rediscovered both of these products from shopping my stash. So yeah, that's it with the highlighters. Now with the bronzers, I have two products. One of them is still available. So I hope, yeah, so hopefully this video is not too redundant that way. Anyway, so the two products, one of them is basically from Benefit Cosmetics. Now this particular palette is where I have the product that I'm going to talk about, and it's basically Hoola. This particular palette is actually really, really old. I think it's easily 4 years old, so it's probably time to replace it. So maybe I will use it a couple of more times this year, and then, you know, it's probably going to go. It still smells fine, and it, you know, it's fine. I don't use the cream highlight in here, but I do use these two powders, so it seems to be okay. Anyway, so the the bronzer that I am so happy to have rediscovered is Hoola. Now, at one point, again, Hoola was like super popular. Everybody was using it. Everybody was talking about it. The one I'm talking about is like the original Hoola, because they did come out with a Hoola Light and a Hoola Dark as well, I guess. And the original Hoola works really well for my skin tone. And so if you have somewhere between like light to medium skin tone, then this is like a beautiful a beautiful bronzer. And I love using this particular bronzer. It's again, I don't know, it's the undertone is perfect, the shade is perfect, everything about it is like super nice. So again, that explains why it was like super, super popular. So that was the one from Benefit that I wanted to talk about. The other bronzer that I was very happy to have rediscovered is from Too Faced. And this was from their Natural Lust collection. And this is the Natural Lust bronzer. And it's described as a satin dual tone bronzer. Now this bronzer, unfortunately, was a limited edition product. So again, if you do not have this, I apologize, but you know, I'm sorry, but I really had to talk about this because I really love this, especially in the summer months, since it's slightly more darker than a lot of the other bronzers that I have. This one, again, because I don't know, I like the fact that it's a satin finish and not overly matte, and it sits really nicely on my skin. It works really well. Overall, I love the formula of this particular bronzer. It has a bit of a coconut scent. And yeah, I like the packaging. Everything about it is super nice. In fact, there's a lot of product in this pan. There's like 18 grams of product, or 0.63 ounces. That's like a lot. And especially when you compare it with like other bronzer products that you see in the market. I think most of them are like 9 grams or 10 grams. This is like 18 grams, which is quite a lot. So I don't think I'll ever finish this bronzer, especially since I have quite a few in my collection. But overall, this is really nice. I like this. I like the tone. I like everything about it. The packaging, the embossing, and everything is just very, very nice. It's a very nice product to use. It makes you feel good using it. So that's also part of the whole makeup experience, in my opinion. So I really like this particular product. So again, if you have this in your collection, I highly recommend revisiting this particular product. So those were the bronzers. Now I will get into some palettes. Now I do have a couple of face palettes in my collection, so I decided to go ahead and pick like one particular face palette which just was super awesome and which made me so happy to use it again. And that is actually from the brand Elizabeth Arden. Now, Elizabeth Arden, in my opinion, is a super underrated brand. They do have very beautiful products. They, after all, they are pretty much a luxury brand, but somehow I think they are kind of labeled as like an older or a mature lady brand, which is probably why not too many younger people talk about it. But I really like this particular brand. It's super nice. I mean, everything I've tried from Elizabeth Arden has been a winner, the makeup product wise. And also I've tried a moisturizer, which was also very nice. So overall, I'm very, very happy with Elizabeth Arden. This particular product, this is called the Forever Bronze Bronzing Powder. Now it's supposed to be, I think, a bronzing powder like they say, but if you look at the face chart that came with this particular product, they do say that you can use this quadrant here as a highlighter, then you can use that as a blush, and then one is a contour and one is a bronzer. So I like to use this mostly like individually. I don't really swirl and use it together. I like to use this blush. This blush is absolutely beautiful. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous peachy, you know, brown toned pink. It looks very nice on my medium toned skin. And then we have this really beautiful highlighter again, which is again really nice, looks very subtle, looks, and of course you can build it up if you want to. And these two quadrants, I kind of use it together as a bronzer. I just use my brush because it's like too tiny for my bronzer brush. So I just kind of like mix the whole thing together, and that works fine as well as a bronzer. So I like to use this as, I mean, it actually works very well as like a travel face palette because it's pretty small. It's like the size of my palm. Unfortunately, I think this product is no longer available. I remember this was still available in the early part of 2021, but recently when I checked, it's no longer available. So I hope they bring it back. It's a beautiful product. It's made in Italy, I think. Yeah, it's made in Italy. It's a beautiful baked formula again. So I absolutely love this particular face palette and I'm super happy to have rediscovered it. So again, yeah, so I think for face palettes, I decided to just pick one because this was kind of like a clear winner where I liked each and every product in the face palette. The other face palettes that I do have some products which I don't like, which is why this kind of made the cut. Now let's get to eyeshadow palettes. Now I do have quite a few eyeshadow palettes. So again, it was a bit difficult to choose one. So again, I went with two. And the first one is from Jouer. Now this eyeshadow palette is called the Jouer Ultra Foil Eyeshadow Palette. And as you will see in the clip, it's basically it's a palette full of like lid shades. It's a palette full of beautiful, creamy, metallic lid shades. Now, foiled lid shades. Now, if you are a person who likes very intense foiled looks on your eyes, like something what I'm wearing right now. I'm actually wearing Flower Beauty's Desert Lights on my, Jungle Lights, not Desert Lights, Jungle Lights on my lid today. This is basically something very, very similar to that. Like it's very creamy, foiled, metallic eyeshadows, and I love it. It's one of my favorites, you know, especially when I want to like have a little bit of fun with my eyeshadow look. This is my favorite palette to go to. This is actually still available on Jouer's website. If you go to their sale page, I think this is still available. My palette is a few years old. I think it's at least 2 years old now. But yeah, this is still available. So if this is attractive to you, it is still available. And of course, if you have this in your collection, again, I highly encourage you to revisit this palette. It's just absolutely beautiful, in my opinion. The other product that I want to talk about in the eyeshadow category is from Vizier. Now, this is one of their limited edition palettes. This is the Vizier Tryst palette. Unfortunately, again, this is not available. However, I think the other two palettes, which are in this same format and this kind of packaging, is still available. I think one of them is called Libertine, and the other one, I don't remember the name of the other one, but I know that one of them is Libertine. And that this is Tryst, which was, I think, released in 2019 or 2018, if I remember correctly. And these eyeshadows are still going strong. It's a beautiful palette. It's like totally my type of shades. I love these kind of rosy, neutrally kind of shades, and they work so beautifully on the lids. They just blend beautifully. The Vizier formula is just fantastic. And the whole reason why I decided to include this, although again it's not available, is because Vizier do come out with color stories which sometimes are pretty similar. So this might, something similar might be there in one of their current collections. So if this kind of shades appeal to you, I think the most recent, one of their most recent releases, Kashmiri or something, I think, which was released in December, they do have some shades which look like, you know, they could kind of vibe together or look very similar. Although I think the Kashmiri is actually a little bit more cool toned than this one. This is a slightly more warm tone leaning, although there are a few cool tones here and there. But yeah, so overall, I thought I would just include this because I just rediscovered my love for Vizier as a brand, as an eyeshadow formula. I believe their formula is one of their best eyeshadow formulas out there. I'm always happy with all the Vizier palettes that I've tried. And yeah, this particular palette made the cut because the color story is just kind of my kind of a thing. So, which is why I decided to talk about this particular Vizier palette. So those were the eyeshadow palettes. Now with the lip products, again, I did have a very hard time trying to narrow down like, you know, one or just two. So again, I have tried my best and I did narrow it down to two lipstick formulas or lipsticks that I really like. The first one again is from Arden. This is from their Ceramide line. This is called the Ceramide Ultra Lipstick, and I have this in the shade Melon. I'm not sure if they still sell this exact same shade, but this is such a beautiful pink. It's an easy to throw on, nice pink with tiny bits of shimmer. So it's not very visible specks, so it still kind of looks really pretty. And it's a very creamy formula, very comfortable. And unlike a lot of cream lipsticks, this does last pretty well on my lips. I don't find it to like fade and move and all of that. It's like just got the right amount of hydration, in my opinion, that, you know, it's like, it's just the right balance of being creamy and not too creamy and not too matte, like, you know, so that it kind of performs really well on the lips. So this is one of my favorite lip products, which I've rediscovered from shopping my stash. The other one is a drugstore one, which again is still available. This one is also still available, although I'm not sure of this particular shade, but this type of formula is still available. And I think it's available both on Arden's website as well as on Macy's. So if you want to try this formula out, it's still available. The other product that I'm going to talk about is from the drugstore, and these are like super nicely priced. I think they're like some below $5. They're like $3 or something. These are from Essence, and this is from their This Is Nude line. I keep talking about these lipsticks a lot in my videos. If you've been watching my videos for a month, you would know. Not for a month, for a year, you would know. I kind of bring these up every now and then because I just can't stop using them. They're super creamy, super nice formula, super nice colors. And yeah, I can do a quick swatch. So this, I have the shade 02 Happy, which is actually my favorite one out of the two. So this is 02 Happy. It's a very nice pinky nude tone kind of a lipstick on my skin tone. I really like it. These are like matte lipsticks, but they have a very nice creamy feel to them. They have like that, it's like that silicone-y matte. So they don't like, they have enough of a slip and they're not very drying on the lips. The other shade that I have is called 06 Real, and I will swatch that here. That's a little bit darker. This is 06 Real, and that is 02 Happy. And this is the Elizabeth Arden lipstick. So these are the lipsticks that, you know, I'm so happy to have rediscovered formula-wise. The Essence ones are, they do have a scent. They've got a slight fruity scent, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But other than that, Flaw, I think these are just amazing for the price. They are just super comfortable and very easy to throw on and super nice. Super comfortable, especially, and this is coming from somebody who has very dry lips. So this is a winner in my book. This is a matte lipstick that really wins in my book. So that's it, I guess. So those were the products that I rediscovered from shopping my stash for a year. And I'm excited to do this again, this whole of 2022. And again, at the end of 2022, I hope to have, you know, kind of, you know, after weeding out some of the products, maybe using some more new products, which I didn't use last year. I'm hoping to rediscover some things as well. And yeah, so hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again in another one. Bye.